Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. And to get things going, I'm going to throw the Bear Cave, the Lego of the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker and you don't want to say anything, you can just lurk and that's also okay. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. It is a Monday. And the plans for Monday are to continue to work on the GM Sniper. I don't think we're going to finish it tonight, but we might. I know what I'm going to be building after that. It's another model kit for my backlog that my $10 patrons voted on. So I know that, but I don't quite know like if we're going to get to it. I think we might not get to it till Thursday because, hey, Ghost Valve, welcome. I did start this kit on Thursday, this past Thursday, and I did finish the head, the chest, and the arms. I did find the little piece. I got the little piece that I couldn't get into the forehead. I managed to get that in. It took a very long time. I just did it while I was doing other things and finally got it. And I just took my time with it because it didn't really matter, to me anyway. And I didn't stream on Saturday. You may have noticed I did not stream on Saturday because of wrestling. I watched a whole lot of wrestling this past weekend. Many, many hours. I don't want to add up how many hours, but it was a lot between WrestleMania proper, both WrestleManias, NXT, and then many, many hours of the collective, GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, and partners, various partners, other wrestling promotions from around the world, did a bunch of shows. It became, WrestleMania has kind of become wrestling weekend, where a lot of other people come just because there's wrestling fans in town. And then some people just come from the cool extra stuff that's happening. But it allows the fact that WrestleMania is there and the city is thriving for wrestling for that weekend or that week allows people who performers and also promotions to do a show, hoping that people will be there because the people are a buzz. And maybe even folks aren't going to go to WrestleMania because the tickets are so expensive, but they're Philly local or New Jersey local. And they're like, well, I'll just go. Or New York, they'll take the train down because there's some great stuff. Like, how often can you see Stardom wrestlers or Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling ladies or Progress or Defy or like so many cool wrestling promotions come out that week. Lord Crashington's here. Hello, Crashington. DET Wrestling was there. There's a plethora of talent that whole weekend, and so it's just like, I don't know, you could for like $25 see Aja Kong wrestle. That's fucking wild. That is a wild thing for me to say out loud, but it's true. You could have just like gone to a venue and watched Aja Kong in a tag team. What? That's just like a reality. That's just like a thing you could do if you wanted. Wrestle Week is pretty fucking cool. And I watched a lot of it. And I didn't stream on Saturday. Can't believe you can say things like that. Yeah, just like, that's a true statement. You just be like, yeah, you want to see that? You just can. If you want to see like Minoru Suzuki wrestle just like a ton of people of all gender spectrum, that weekend got you covered. Yeah. You want to see a former idol turned professional wrestler tag with a man who has gone to federal prison and has redeemed himself, certainly, and have them tag against a demon child from Japan and a man who is a throwback to a period of radio that no one remembers. That happened. That match happened. Ram and Danhausen fought Murder Death Cute. Fought Nick Gage and Maki Ito. And that's just a match that exists. That happened. I'm making that shit up. Some of the weirdest shit that weekend. It was fucking awesome. It was a great weekend for me, a person who watched lots of it live and then also later, because sometimes there were conflicts and shows happened at the same time and I couldn't. A WWE wrestler wrestled in Bloodsport, the we're kind of MMA, but it's definitely it's a shoot, work, shoot. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. There were AEW and WWE wrestlers on that card. That doesn't make any sense. It's wild. It was just like a completely wild thing. It's Shayna Baszler. She was an MMA person, so it like makes sense. But the fact that WWE was like, yeah, Shayna doesn't have anything. That's a fun thing. We'll let that happen. And she wasn't the only one. Charlie Dempsey, who is legitimately the son of William Regal, wrestled as well. And that's just weird. That's just weird. Anyway, we're going to work on this model kit, and we're going to keep talking about wrestling. And my hope is, if you don't give a shit about that, about like what happened at WrestleMania, my hope is that my enthusiasm will be entertaining. Or I will talk about some bullshit, and you'll go, well, that's some fucking bullshit. Okay, sure. So let's get into that. Let's start working on we got to work on the feet here. We're going to work on the feet and then move up. Some good stuff and some okay stuff. Yeah, Lord Crashing In. Like, when it comes right down to it, when one of my least favorite matches on the card is a type of match that has only worked a couple times ever, that's pretty good. I'll just say it right now. Worst match on the card was Jimmy Uso versus Jay Uso. And they're both very talented wrestlers. They both work well in tag teams, and they both work well on their own. And I know some people were just like, oh, I'm bummed that was a bad match. And it wasn't even bad. It was just never really got going. It never really did anything. It wasn't really there. But the thing you got to acknowledge about it is these are real brothers, okay? So when I talk about brother versus brother matches, I don't mean Kane versus Undertaker, which is also almost always bad. Kane versus Undertaker were almost always terrible matches. I'm talking about like real brothers, real actual blood brothers, not storyline brothers. When you look at that, there are only, in my mind, 2 brother versus brother matches that are good. In the plethora, in the canon of wrestling, twice. Bret and Owen, two of the best wrestlers to ever live. Yeah, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, really fucking good. The other one is Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes, and they are half brothers, and they had a fantastic match, and it's incredibly awesome. And that's it. Matt and Jeff never had a good one. It's so hard to even think about other actual brothers. A honorable mention in this, I will say an honorable mention, would be Chavo Guerrero versus Eddie Guerrero. They are not brothers, but they are only 3 years difference in age. Chavo is the nephew of Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie is the youngest, and Chavo is the oldest of the next generation, and they're only 3 years apart in age. And they had 2 really good matches in WCW and a couple decent ones in WWE. So that kind of counts. So it's like 2.5. And that's it. Brother versus brother is usually bad because they don't want to do it most of the time. Now, kayfabe brother versus brother in storyline, the Rodden brothers, Ian and Axel, had a really good match. They had a series of matches that was very good. Edge and Christian, when they were supposedly brothers, they had a couple good matches. Those two work really well together. And then since they've had excellent matches when it's not part of that kayfabe anymore. So like that's happened more in the world of, well, we're pretend brothers. But yeah, so Jimmy and Jay, it was never in full gear. It never really did anything. It's a shame, but in the grand scheme of things, especially with the bloodline, Jay is in a number 1 contendership right now for the world title. So they're at least, hopefully he won't take the pin tonight, but they're at least going to keep working with, him in that spot, even if he didn't necessarily have a good showing, which is a shame. Rhea Ripley defeated Becky Lynch via pinfall. That made a lot of sense to me. That match was a little rough. It was for a time my least favorite match on the card of both nights. But we found out during the match that Becky had strep, and apparently at one point before the match had started, sometime that past week, had strep throat. And maybe shouldn't have done that match, but whatever. I understand it's WrestleMania and you gotta, but it kind of showed in the performance. It was fine, but you want Rhea versus Becky to be more than fine. A-Town Down, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth. They are each champions in the tag ladder match, which was fucking fun. The tag ladder match was a lot of fun. That was a really good time. But there were 2 sets of belts suspended above the ring. If you grabbed the belts, you became that champion. The match ended when both sets of belts had been claimed. So that had a lot of bullshit, a lot of nonsense. Supposedly everyone is okay, but there were a few spots that looked really fucking bad in that. And it was like, yikes, a few times, but apparently everything's okay there. Lord Crouch says it was good chaos. Love the belts basically hanging on coat hangers. Yes, the way they hang the 2 belts makes it look like it's a coat hanger. And I always find that fun. But yeah, that match was really fun. Lots of great spots. The DDT, I think it was maybe that Pete Dunne or Tyler Bate took a DDT from Johnny Gargano through a table that was ridiculously good. And there's a wonderful moment where one of the ladders is breaking. It is fucked. And Damian Priest, the biggest man in the match, is trying to climb it. And a referee is basically like, don't do it. And she's telling him not to do it. And he kind of turns and looks at her and then keeps going. And so she like grabs his leg to like say like, hey, this is going to collapse on you. And come on. And he just ignores her. And it's like, fuck, dude, come on. Read the room. Eventually someone else gets a different ladder because that ladder is just not going to hold up. That ladder was crumbling. And he was just, like, yeah, that was a bad spot. That could have been worse. Rey Mysterio and Andrade win a tag match against Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar with a lot of people around via pinfall. This was the first match that I called wrong. I had picked A-Town Down Under, I should say, Awesome Truth to each win. I had picked Rhea Ripley to retain. I thought that Dominic was going to get his win back, and also thought that it was better for Santos Escobar to have a win at WrestleMania. But then I forgot about the very important thing, which is they got to make Andrade happy, because Andrade's partner is Charlotte. They are married. So they got to make and Andrade has not really done much. So they got to make Andrade happy. And that, I had forgotten that important fact. Also, it sets up the whole idea of like who attacked Dragon Lee. It was probably Carlito. And then Carlito didn't even get to be in the match because Andrade filled in. And so maybe that'll be a thing. Also, there were 2 giant men that jumped the barricade wearing lucha masks and jeans. And it turns out those were professional wrestlers from the Eagles and Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother. And that is fun. That's some fun shit. That's some good local bullshit. There was very little local bullshit. Most of the bullshit that was local was good. So that's nice. And that was just a big pop and a fun thing. So sure. Yeah, I mean, they threw in some local stuff. It's a match that like doesn't mean anything for real. So like whatever. It's just like, hey, Rey Mysterio's a Hall of Famer, and we want him involved in WrestleMania. This put Dom in a spot, which was good, even though he lost. It was something. It was something, and I think it worked out just fine. It was totally okay. The Philly Rey Mysterio mask. Yes, I thought those were pretty great. Jimmy Uso lost to Jey Uso. Jey won. That's a feel good. That match wasn't good, as I said. Here's that shit. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi defeated Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane via pinfall. And I saw some bullshit about this match. Some people talking some mess about it. They basically were like, well, what's all this training Jade's doing if she just looks the same? And I was like, I understand that you feel the need to think that Jade Cargill has to be better than she was in AEW because you didn't think that she improved enough in AEW. That's your opinion. If that's your opinion, that's fine. It's okay. But I don't think there was ever a world where Jade Cargill was going to put on a wrestling clinic in a 6-woman match that had, checks notes, 8 minutes. It was an 8-minute match, which is too short. It's too short for fucking WrestleMania. It is, and I will check this. I'm going to double check this. Yes, it was the shortest match. It was, sorry. There's one match that's 9 seconds, so fuck off. It was the shortest advertised match. We'll say that. It was like 30 seconds shorter than another spot fest nonsense thing. So in that case, in 8 minutes, Jade Cargill's not going to be doing a bunch of shit. She was going to do a bunch of power moves, and it was going to look awesome. And we were going to have 3 black women and 2 Asian women and Dakota Kai having a fucking baller time, hitting the high spots, looking badass, looking cool as hell. Big time feel good match that I think did what it needed to do. Dakota Kai took the pinfall as she should. She's looking good. She's only had 2 matches back since she was finally recovered for injury. So good for her. Welcome back, Dakota Kai, to seemingly full-time working. But yeah, everybody looked good. Everybody hit their shit. Jade and Bianca and Naomi came down from a raised platform and looked fucking awesome. It's a beautiful presentation. They just looked rad as hell. And it's fucking cool as hell. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of all I want and all I need. Sami Zayn defeated Gunther by pinfall to become the new Intercontinental Champion. Sub says, hi, Pat. I hope you're doing fine today. I'm doing all right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're talking about WrestleMania because I watched a lot of wrestling over the past week, especially over the weekend. I mean, I watch a lot of wrestling anyway, but specifically, I watched a lot of wrestling on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sami Zayn won, and I don't think... Unpopular opinion, I don't think Sami Zayn should have won that belt. It feels great. Gunther probably needs to start moving into a feud, moving up the card. He should be in contention for a world title, certainly. I think it should have been Chad Gable, and I would like to see Chad Gable maybe turn heel on Sami and go after the belt that way and eventually take the belt off Sami. I think that's totally reasonable. I think the story they told with Chad Gable was awesome. I think they just wanted the title to change and have Sami have a big WrestleMania moment, and I don't mind that, but I don't think it should have been Sami. I think it should have been Chad, and it's kind of a bummer, but also it felt nice. Nathan, subscribe with Prime. Thank you so much, Nathan Exposure. Let's go to Bear Cave Lego site, Tier 2 Blue Emote in chat. Thank Nathan, very much. We are currently at 49 subscribers. The goal is to get to 50. I shut up at 50. If you want to become a subscriber or gift a sub to somebody in the community, get me to the big 5-0. That would be rad. No worries if not. Lord Crashton says, the match was the first where I found it weird how everybody's finishers were almost worthless unless they did it several times. Hi, Van. Yeah, so, look, I understand that the thing you got to remember is, in canon, Lord Crashington, finishers win matches. But at WrestleMania, everyone's got another life bar. When you hit the WrestleMania stage, you've got extra. Even if you wrestle one night and then you have to wrestle the next night. You still get an extra bar. It refills. So like everyone is a mid boss. Everybody's got that extra. They're more than they are normally because it's WrestleMania and you want to win at WrestleMania. You don't want to lose at WrestleMania. Nobody wants to lose at WrestleMania. Nobody wants to lose, period, but you don't want to lose there. So everybody's got extra. So like, yeah, you need to do 3 crossroads to win. You need to do 2 haluva kicks in a row. You can kick out of 1 claymore. You might even kick out of a 2nd claymore. But it's going to take a little bit. You got to get curb stomped 3 or 4 times. It's just the logic of WrestleMania. But yeah, Sami Zayn won, and you know what? I can't be too mad about it. I don't think it was the right person to do it, but I love Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn having that belt, he's been good with that belt as a babyface. It'll be very fun. He will wear it with pride. He will defend it well. He'll have some good storylines. I have loved Sami Zayn so much for so many years, and I'm so happy for him. So yeah. And the main event of night 1 was concluded with the Bloodline, The Rock, and Roman Reigns defeating Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins by pinfall, therefore making the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns match on night 2 under the stipulation of Bloodline rules, which is just that there are no rules and fuck you. And the thing about that match is that if you were like, I don't know what Bloodline rules are, don't worry, you had a preview, because in that match, it became a no DQ / last man standing / whatever the fuck The Rock wants, because The Rock, as a member of the TKO board in reality, but in kayfabe in this storyline, told the referee not to count anyone out or DQ anyone. Which is stupid, but allowed for the match to be nonsense. The match was 44 minutes, and The Rock got blown up at 20 minutes. There was a point where The Rock got tagged in, and he stumbled through the ropes, and you could just see it. You could see it in his eyes that man was blown up. He was gassed. And I will say this, 20 minutes is longer than I would have expected. I would have expected him to be gassed way sooner. Yes, Lord Crashington, that match took forever before it picked up. Business did not pick up for a long time. And the thing that people forget about until it happens is that's Roman Reigns' wrestling style. Roman Reigns works, and in championship or main event matches, Roman Reigns works a very slow, plodding style. Power moves, moving around. He is a throwback in that regard. And it does set him apart from other matches on the card in that style, which is not popular these days. But also that style isn't popular these days and can be a lot to watch. Also, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion this was going to happen. It's okay. Sure. Moving on to night 2. Drew McIntyre defeated Seth freaking Rollins via pinfall. If you were like, Pat, there wasn't enough Philadelphia the first night, don't worry. Night 2 had more Philadelphia for you. In this case, there is an organization of people in costume that celebrate New Year's every year in Philadelphia, which is based on I believe, Finnish tradition. And it is, it's very specifically, generally broader, a Norwegian tradition that was Norwegian or possibly Finnish. It's Scandinavian in nature, that came in via immigrants and became a thing in Philadelphia. So the most flamboyant man in WWE, costume-wise at the very least, came in with a sea of people. It looked like the wrestler Adam Rosebud's entrance. It was very good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins in about 10 minutes. CM Punk, who was not cleared to wrestle, was on commentary. Punk made it all about him. He had very little to say about anyone. He had very little to say about the wrestling. It was mostly just him yelling about things and being a crusty old man. So that was not super enjoyable. When Drew McIntyre won, he decided he was going to taunt Seth freaking Rollins, which he did. He was, got in his face, standing on it, and then standing on the table. And then he was surprised when Punk swept his legs, knocking him down, and then took off. He was wearing a brace on his arm, took that brace off to hit Drew McIntyre with a bunch. A man who was not cleared to wrestle and not cleared for contact, in kayfabe at least, surprise attacking a man because CM Punk is a heel. He was a heel attacking another heel. This was a heel tactic and a heel move. It was very CM Punk to do that shit. But yes, he attacked a man that had just wrestled, the champion. How could he? And then Damian Priest's music hit. And Damian Priest chucked his Money in the Bank briefcase, which guaranteed him a title match at the time of his choosing. He chucked that fucking briefcase right at Drew McIntyre's head, cashed in, did his finisher, and in 9 seconds later, he was the champion. Your new World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre's reign as World Heavyweight Champion, he will now, I'm going to say this, he will probably forever be the shortest reign of that championship, which is, he was only the second person to hold that belt. But he was only champion for several minutes, 20 minutes at most, 15 at maybe stretching it, probably just 10 minutes. And then, Damian Priest, who always felt like an afterthought, who lost both tag belts the previous night, cashed in, became champion. During the match that Drew had with Seth, he did tweet that he was bored at work, which he then retweeted with just the word fuck, which is very good. As mentioned by Lord Crashington, that is a very good moment. That is fucking around and finding out at the highest level. Drew McIntyre had just the briefest of it. And I don't know if he's going to be number one contender. I don't know who's going to win the match tonight. Then bisexual Undertaker trended after the match. Yes. Damian Priest's colors of his gear were big. I mean, the Judgment Day has big bisexual energy as it is. Like, Rhea Ripley is with Dominic Mysterio in storyline, but you're like, what? And like, yeah, there's big bisexual energy in that group. So I could see some people who were like tuning into WrestleMania because they heard The Rock was going to be there and get a load of Damian Priest. Could maybe just be like, what's up with this gentleman? But yeah, congratulations, Damian Priest. And then in the second shortest not advertised match of the weekend, coming in at 8 minutes, 35 seconds, The Pride, which is a terrible fucking name. I'll say that every time. Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford, who are the Street Profits, took on The Final Testament, also a bad name, Karrion Kross, Akaman Rezar, who are more commonly known as the Authors of Pain. Scarlett and Paul Ellering were on the side of the Final Testament. The Pride had B-Fab with them. B-Fab and Scarlett got into it. There was a big spot. Snoop Dogg was on commentary, and the special guest referee was Bubba Ray Dudley, to represent Philadelphia and to take an easy paycheck. He was the referee for this Philadelphia street fight. Because that's the easiest fucking paycheck in the world for the referee. You just have to count 1, 2, 3. There's no DQs. There's no rules because it's a street fight. Bubba Ray, who of course does look very much like Alex Jones now. Yes. Snoop Dogg, because the match was sponsored by Snoop and Dre's gin and juice, legitimately, for real, was fun on commentary. He, at one point, was talking about, like, there's no Yogi Bear around because those aren't picnic tables when they yelled to get the tables. There was a spot where Karrion Kross was getting all up in the business of he pushed and got in the face of Bubba Ray, who then put on his glasses and went old school Dudley. And then they went and got the tables. And then Snoop Dogg referred to these big tables as he was like, oh, you got the big tables. You got the, what did he say? Family reunion tables. The tables you set up for when you have a family reunion, which is incredibly specific and not at all what anyone has ever said about tables set up for wrestling. He could have said, like, classic Dudleys. He could have said, like, well, this is Philadelphia. And so you put people through tables. Instead, he was like, oh, this is the kind of table you get when your grandma has people over, which is charming. It was charming as all hell. Good on you, Snoop. It was very fun. Yes, people were trying to make weed references. They were trying to seem cool. Pat McAfee, who was on one the whole night and annoying in many instances, was very annoying in this one, trying to be very cool. And then Snoop made reference that he was going to go hang out backstage with the Pride. And every room is a green room when Snoop Dogg is there. But he was going to go to the green room to hang out with the winning team. I did not think that... Look, I'll say this. Once Bubba came out as the special guest referee, I was like, oh, well then Bobby's crew is going to win. I did not expect Bobby's crew to win because, and I also didn't know that Snoop Dogg was going to be a commentary. That's also a good indication that Bobby's crew was going to win. I didn't know either of those things. All I knew was that they keep pushing Karrion Kross. Here's the thing about fucking Karrion Kross, who sucks. He sucks as a wrestler. His gimmick sucks. The stable sucks. He's got a bad name, a bad t-shirt. He's bad on the microphone. They've got motherfucking the legendary Paul Ellering, a guy who has been known to put butts in seats to make children cry. Paul Ellering is a fucking master on the microphone. You put him in this fucking stable and Karrion Kross does fucking the talking. It's terrible. Karrion Kross sucks. His stable sucks. They keep doing this thing where he starts winning and he's getting a momentum and he's doing a thing and then he gets into a feud. And this should be the feud that makes Karrion Kross. And then he loses at the pay-per-view. And then they restart. And at some point, he's got to win. Because if he doesn't, I'm never going to... I shouldn't... So I was like, oh, he'll win at WrestleMania. That'll be very big for him. He'll pin Angelo Dawkins and it'll be fine. And like, then the Pride will be mad at each other and they'll just move on and it'll be good. And they'll move on to another feud and they'll dominate and they'll feud with the LWO or something. I don't know. But no, they lost again. Karrion Kross can't win at a pay-per-view and it's worthless. It's not making anybody anything. The Pride didn't need that win. They don't do better with that win. It was a fucking feel-good moment. The biggest pop in the show, in that match, was for Bubba Ray Dudley, who was not in the match. It was just a referee. I do hope it means that they're going to fucking break up the Pride. Or not the Pride. The Pride is fine. This bad name, but it's fine. They got to break up Final Testament, do something else. Uh, Akam and Razor need to be somebody else's stooges. That is not Karrion Kross. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I think I read that Asuka and Xavier Woods are winless at WrestleMania. Xavier Woods has definitely won at WrestleMania. I can't tell you if Asuka has won or not at WrestleMania. But also, we are not entertaining the idea that WWE has done wrong by Asuka. We are not going to do that. She has won every title in that company that she is available to her. She has won Money in the Bank. She had twice. She has been all over television, all over pay-per-views. She has won everything she could possibly. There's a strong chance that she'll be Queen of the Ring. I'm not here for WWE doesn't know what to do to Asuka. Yes, they do. The person you like can't win all the time. And also, she's a tag champion, so she is winning. But yeah, I'm not going to be here for that. People lose at WrestleMania, and it happens. I do think, though, that Xavier Woods has won at WrestleMania. I'm not entirely sure. Also, he's hosted WrestleMania, so he's also won at WrestleMania. He got paid to not have to work at WrestleMania, which is pretty great. LA Knight defeated AJ Styles via pinfall in a match that felt like it didn't need as much time as it got. This match was very important for LA Knight to win. Talking about somebody you got to put some championship, you got to put some wins on. LA Knight is my pick for winning a belt at SummerSlam. I think LA Knight's going to do it at SummerSlam. It was important for him to win this. AJ didn't need it. I thought it was fine. Especially because the match was sponsored by the company, by Slim Jim, which he is one of the two spokespeople for, along with Bianca. Logan Paul I have nothing to say about that match. It was fine. Logan Paul with I Show Speed, also just known as Speed by many people, defeated Kevin Owens and Randy Orton to retain his United States Championship in a three-way fight that was good and fun. And look, do I like Logan Paul? No, I don't. Is it annoying that Logan Paul is so good at professional wrestling? Yes, it is very annoying. Did I have any doubt that Logan Paul was going to walk out of WrestleMania a champion? No, because SummerSlam is in Cleveland, where Logan Paul is from. And also, Prime is the official hydration sponsor of the WWE. And the first pay-per-view where they made that a big deal was WrestleMania. So he was not going to lose. I did think maybe Randy and Kevin were going to turn on each other. They didn't really. They got competitive with one another, but they were mostly in favor of, hey, who shouldn't be winning this match? It's Logan Paul. I Show Speed, who is, of course, a garbage person, and I do not need to get into it. I do not care that he also does charity. He's still a garbage person that does charity for PR purposes, but that dude fucking sucks. He sucks, and he was involved, and it's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. Yeah, Logan won. Totally okay. Logan Paul's frog splash is fucking really good. He's got one of the best frog splashes, period. His buckshot lariat is very good. It was a little fucked up in the match on purpose. That was part of the storyline. He kind of had to have it be fucked up because a lot of people were like, oh, he botched it. I'm like, no, it's a storyline thing. He didn't actually botch that. He probably botched some other stuff, but they didn't botch that. Yeah, I thought that match was entertaining and good. In what might, I don't know what to say. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll say it. In what was the best wrestled match of WrestleMania, Bayley defeated Io Sky to become the new WWE Women's Champion. My heart is with the main event, of course. My heart is always with Sami Zayn, who put on a stellar performance. He and Gunther work really well together. But Bayley and Io, I mean, here's the thing about Io Sky. Io Sky is fucking awesome. Io Sky became a side character in her own story because Damage Control was always Bayley's thing and bigger than Io. And then Asuka and Kairi Sane came in. Kairi Sane coming back to the company, big deal. Asuka coming into the group, huge deal. You end up with a character kind of like on the periphery, and she is the champion. But I knew they would have a stellar match. And one of the things that was really good about this that I noticed really late was because the main event on purpose was going to be full of bullshit and bodies because it was the style of the match. The fact that they just had a straight up match and there was some cheating here and there, but there wasn't interference. The fact there wasn't interference, it was just a fucking good wrestling match. And you get the idea of like, oh, Io has something to prove to Bayley that she didn't need him, that they were hurt, that they were never friends, that it was fine. You just end up with two really good wrestlers working for a little under 15, putting on a fucking banger that ends up being my favorite match of like the best wrestled match. Again, there's heartstrings for a couple things here and there, but that was just fucking liquid wrestling. That was just good ass wrestling. Two good ass wrestlers wrestling really well. Totally fun. And the main event, Cody Rhodes finished the story. Cody Rhodes is your new undisputed WWE Universal Champion, defeating Roman Reigns after way too much just that straight up wrestling, slow paced wrestling where they went outside and they came back because you can go outside because it's bloodline rules. So it's just a hardcore match. It's just a hardcore match. Easy enough to say. Too much of just that before the first interference. They put on a regular wrestling show for too long before it got weird. We had the Uso brothers take each other out after getting involved. We had Solo Sikoa get involved. And Wheeling just yelling at Roman Reigns to make the pin. Just to go for it, to make it happen. Then you have John Cena comes out. Now, you're like, Pat, that's random. John Cena and Cody Rhodes, like, yeah, sure, they're baby faces, but why would that happen? Well, you got to remember, John Cena went away because he had to make movies and the strike ended. But he went away because he had a match with Solo Sikoa where Solo beat the shit out of him. Just beat the ever-living fucking shit out of him and caused him to lose his voice, which is his moneymaker. So him coming back and immediately targeting Solo, very good. And I also just want to say right now, folks, hey, I'm not the person to talk to when you want to point out someone's bald spot. I'm just going to say that now, and I'm not going to talk about it again. No harm, no foul. I'm just going to tell you, folks, I'm the guy that wears a bandana. I don't want to talk about people's bald spots. You can talk about it with whoever the fuck you want to talk about. Please don't talk about it with me. I don't care enough to be nice about it. John Cena comes in, makes a beeline, helps out. The Rock's music hits. We knew The Rock was going to come out. The Rock isn't going to not come out for WrestleMania Night 2. Rock comes out, fights with John Cena. Oh God, it's gonna go poorly. We're not gonna get out of this. This is gonna ruin it. He's gonna attack Cody. This is all kinds of bad. Nothing's gonna work out. The Shield? What? Yeah, it's Seth Rollins. It's Seth freaking Rollins in his Shield gear, and you're like, that's very funny. That's very funny. He's in Shield gear. They're playing the Shield's music. he immediately just gets fucking destroyed. Should also say, sorry, The Rock, the Undertaker's music hit, and the Undertaker comes out and chokeslams The Rock, and the crowd goes huge. And you're thinking, was this spot meant for Stone Cold Steve Austin, who decided he didn't want to do it? And the answer is probably yes. It was probably Stone Cold. It's probably Stone Cold Steve Austin who decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna show up. No, I'm not. I'm gonna stay in Texas. It's cool. It's all right. He's like, I probably want a bigger spot than just that. Undertaker, yes. Undertaker is in town to do his one-man show, his dead man show. Undertaker in a variation of Biker Taker gear. You got to remember, Lord Crashington, that he retired. He's not that Undertaker anymore. He retired that Undertaker, so he's not going to show up as the dead man. He's going to show up as Biker Taker, and he did. So he comes in, he does his spot, he disappears again. Roman Reigns attacks Seth Rollins before Seth Rollins can do anything. And then he's got the chair. He can attack Cody with the chair. But instead, he gets payback from the time that Seth hit him from behind with a chair. And that causes him to lose. And Cody Rhodes wins. And it's pretty fucking cool. And it's pretty fucking great. Good job on you, Cody Rhodes. You finished the story. There's a bunch of bullshit that happens tonight on Raw, but it doesn't matter because you did it and you got it. And everybody all the baby faces come out. Seth seems legitimately hurt. He is being helped a lot, but lots of hugs. His mom's in the ring. His wife, Brandy's there. His father-in-law is there. A bunch of kids are there, childhood kids and stuff. Brody Lee is not there. Brody Lee's in the crowd because Cody takes care of Brody Lee. Brody Lee Jr. is not in the ring. And that's okay. But yeah, everybody's celebrating. All the baby faces show up to congratulate him. It's a good night. Everybody's happy. CM Punk shows up because he is, I guess, a babyface. But he comes out later than everybody else. It's one of those things where you're like, you can imagine a world where he's backstage going, hey, shouldn't I be out there? And people are like, yeah, nobody told me, but I'm a babyface, so I should be out there. And people are like, well, that's weird. But yeah, I guess you should go out there. Okay. But yes, he eventually shows up again. Everyone's cheering. Everyone's clapping. Calls out some people, says thank you to some people. It's lovely. There's one thing we don't get that I wanted. There was an element of the story that was subtle and small and could have been something bigger. About 6 months ago, the WWE timekeeper got attacked. And that rarely happens. That guy just sits there and does his job. And I'm looking up his name because I forget it. But he... okay, yes. Berkeley. Berkeley just does his job. He's just a guy that works there. He's worked there for a lot of years. He is a timekeeper on for every live show. And he got attacked by the Bloodline. And you're like, yeah, Pat, they attack people. That's fine. But there's a thing about, about Berkeley Ottman. The thing about Berkeley Ottman is that he is the son of Fred Ottman, who you may know as Tugboat or Typhoon. You also may know Fred Ottman as the Shockmaster. But Fred Ottman is also the brother-in-law of Dusty Rhodes. He married Dusty's sister. Yes, Crazy Kook, he is indeed the Shockmaster. Fred Ottman married Dusty Rhodes' sister. So Berkeley Ottman is Cody Rhodes' cousin. And that is weird. And they've never brought it up. And I want them to because it's weird. And maybe he doesn't want to be part of it. Maybe our boy Berkeley just wants to do his job and doesn't want to make a deal. Maybe they're not close. I don't fucking know. You know, Cody is younger than a lot of his relatives. He didn't grow up with a lot of them. He does know Uncle Fred Ottman. He refers to, there's a story where, talk about the Shockmaster, where he's like, oh, Uncle Fred, people are mad at Uncle Fred. You know, like, he was not a family friend. He was, you know, he was the uncle. Like, they were around each other. So I was hoping for a little bit of that. I was hoping, there was a point where they ended up in Timekeeper. There was a spear into the Timekeeper, and I was like, now's the time to do it. Pull the trigger on it. Bring it up. But they didn't do it. And that's fine. That was one piece that I was missing that I would have liked to see. Because this is like, Cody's doing it for his dad. You know, he's doing it for family. He's doing it for himself. But like, you could amp that up. You could make that a little bit more if you wanted to. I was a little bummed they didn't. But anyway, WrestleMania was fucking rad as shit. It was cool and fun and good. High highs. The lows weren't that low. Yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty rad. I think it was weird. There was a couple live music bits, but shout outs to Mega Ran. Mega Ran, wrestling podcast host, rapper, streamer, League of Heels participant. Mega Ran was on stage for WrestleMania. Mega Ran was in the band that accompanied the chorus that played out Roman Reigns, which is fucking wild. Yeah, so Mega Ran got to do that shit, which is just wild and weird and cool and good for him. That was just neat shit. Yeah, it was one of those things you're like, oh, that's just cool. I know somebody who was involved in WrestleMania. That's just weird and cool. But yeah, I thought the show overall was great. Now, the band I assume played Rhea's theme was also on stage for that. Yeah, so there was that. So you had Roman in that, and then you had a full band do Rhea's theme. Rhea won, even though a live band was there. She broke that, you know, it's not a curse, but like it is a assumed thing that'll happen. But she managed to surpass that bullshit. Good for her. And that was fun. That was a cool way to open. I would say the fact that the band played, it was a little rough that it was the you know, it was like not dark out, because I think that would have worked better otherwise, but you know, that's fine. I did wonder if Cody was going to have his friends play him, because he's friends with that band that do the theme, and I was wondering if we were going to get that live. We didn't. Instead, he had a weird mask. And I think that's fine. I think that's fine that he had a weird mask. I like that mask. Not bad. The thing about professional wrestlers is they all have something that is very corny that they think is the coolest thing in the world. And you cannot be a good, successful professional wrestler unless you think something incredibly corny is great. And it can just be one thing. But you have to think that one thing is cool as hell. And when it's not. And that's what it takes to be, to make it. Is you have to have so much confidence in yourself about this cool thing you've got going that is not cool. To me, that's a necessary element. As far as other wrestling, there was a lot of great wrestling out there, folks. If you do not have Fight Plus or Triller Plus, I guess I should say, if you don't have that, I would say get that for a month. Pop a trial if you never have. Go back and look for The Collective. Watch. The cheapest you're ever going to get to watch a Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling show with English commentary. You got Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling there. You get their show. Tokyo Joshi versus GCW was fantastic. The DDT show was great. Joey Janela's Spring Break had some duds, but way more hits than misses. For the Culture was fun. $8 is, I'll say this, $8 is too little money for Effie's Big Gay Brunch. That show featured, honestly, the best match of the weekend. The best match of the weekend was, it's gonna be Dark Sheik versus Sunny Kiss is the best match of the weekend. Unbelievably good. Dark Sheik versus Sunny Kiss. Stellar performances. But that show featured Effie and Allie Catch, also known as Bussy, versus Dirty Breeze, which is the Please Don't Get Mad at Us WWE tag team, formerly known as Breezango, because Dirty Dango is the name that Fandango uses on the indie circuit. So it's Dirty Breeze, because Tyler Breeze can still use his name on the indie circuit because of his ongoing agreement with the WWE, his weird agreement that he has with the WWE. He can still use that name. So it was that was a great tag team. That was very fun and silly tag match. But yeah, that whole show was so good. Big Gay Brunch was phenomenal. The undercard was great. The main event was great. Just like wonderful performances, top to bottom. Just some good ass shit. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Don't watch the Clusterfuck. If you're gonna watch a bunch of GCW shows, don't watch that. Clusterfuck was bad this year. It's always a mess, but it wasn't a fun mess. It was just a mess. It was a rough one. But overall, great night of wrestling. A great weekend of wrestling, I should say. Really fun shit. And there's still stuff I haven't seen yet. I still need to watch Defy's show. It's just like there's still a few things I haven't seen because there's just so many hours in the day and a lot of wrestling. Also, Collision from Saturday night, late night Saturday night Collision because of the NBA draft was really good. Really good episode of Collision. Yuka Sakazaki is fucking back. Finally, folks, Yuka Sakazaki wrestled on AEW television. Fucking took forever, but she's back. And she had a great match, so. That match was class. Trish Adora versus Yuka Sakazaki. Hell yeah. All right, so these legs are done, and they're gonna get panel lined, and then we'll get the waist done, and then we'll get this body completed, and then work on the weapons. I don't think we're gonna finish tonight, but we're gonna get close to finishing tonight, which is pretty cool. So we talked about that, and then we'll have some other stories to talk about later. We don't really need to hit any of this stuff. Gearbox Publishing, the people that stayed with Embracer and then got laid off, but they had the name to Gearbox Publishing. They had to change the name because Gearbox not being with Embracer anymore. So now they're called Arc Games, which is a fine name. And the only other thing I'll say is a bunch of episodes of some of Crunchyroll's spring season got leaked, which is wild. A couple of them had been shown at conventions, but some of them hadn't, and so they're not sure where that leak came from. But yeah, we got a few shows got leaked out early, and it is probably on the Crunchyroll side, not the Japanese television side. So we got to panel line this stuff, and we can do that after our pause for the cause, which we'll get into right now. Hi, friends. For the next couple minutes, Arc Games, the makers that won Sci-Fi MMO Defiance. Yes. Hi, Dirty. Now's the part of the stream, folks, where I'm going to talk to you about ways you can support this channel. Everything I'm about to say here for the next few minutes is optional. You don't have to do any of these things. If you want to, you're more than welcome to. I would love it, but you don't have to worry about that. Sorry. You don't have to worry about supporting if you don't want to, but if you'd like to, here's some ways to do it. If you were currently a subscriber to the Build With Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego of the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through cash money or your Prime Gaming token. You could be like Nathan, who used the Prime token. They have the Amazon link to their Twitch. You get that token. They can use it for anybody. They chose to use it for me. Oh, sorry about that. I got an itch, which is so lovely, and I appreciate so much. But also, you can use cash money. You could gift a sub. Nobody this month has gifted anyone, and that's okay. But if you want to gift somebody a sub in the community, you could do that. We are currently at 49 out of 50 subscribers. I shut up at 50 until it goes down below 50 again, and then I start talking about subscribers. But if you want to do that, you can. You can also do some bits. Join the cheerleader message board with Harold if you wanted to. But if you're a subscriber, you can throw those emotes in the chat because I like seeing when people do that. It makes me happy. It's a small thing that makes me happy. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. My Patreon is my alternative to, becoming a subscriber here. You get some benefits there. There are benefits, different ones for the $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. My $3, $5, and $10 patrons voted on what I'm playing tomorrow, which is Pokemon Black Randomizer. The return to my Pokemon Black Randomizer run. I don't remember anything about that run. I don't know where we are. I know we have some dragons on our team. I don't remember much about it. I'm going to have to load that game save up and look and see where we are in the game because I do not remember. But I'll find out before the stream starts tomorrow. But yeah, different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining my Patreon. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Over on my YouTube channel, you can find videos, all kinds of videos, and you can also find a membership page. You can become a member there, and for just $2 a month, you become a member, and you get access to my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. I send out a thing just to my members there, so they get it a day early, so you'll tomorrow get the video that everybody else got to wait till Wednesday for, which is a little fun. Unless you're a $5 or $10 patron, but whatever. You know what I mean. You could also go over to my Ko-Fi or my PayPal, and any money sent right now for my Ko-Fi while I'm streaming goes into a fund. I buy model kits with that money. Outside of it, I got a fundraiser on my Ko-Fi right now. You can check that out. I'm now at like 54% or something. So thrilled about that. It jumped up a lot today, which is wild. Anyway, anything I make through that, through direct donations like that, through YouTube, through Twitch, through Patreon, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I buy model kits to then build on stream. I have a backlog of kits, including the kit I'm building next, the Dreadnought. That's right there. The Dreadnought is the next thing that I will be building for my backlog. The kit I'm currently working on right now, the GM Sniper 2, came from Charlie. Thank you, Charlie, once again, for picking up this kit off my Amazon wish list. And it jumped the queue. It became the next thing that I built because that's what happens when someone buys something from my wish list. So if you want to decide what I build next and have it be the very next thing, go over and check out my Amazon wish list. Click the link. I have Lego sets. I have model kits. I have inexpensive kits. I have expensive kits. I have kits that never go on sale, kits that are always on sale, kits with free shipping, all kinds of things that I will be happy to build. I try to have a wide variety of different kinds of things and things that you can see there and see if there's something there that you'd like to see me build on stream. You can pick it up. I've recently added a few new things to there that just look cool as shit. Some stuff that's expensive, some stuff that's actually really cheap but should be short build times. But yeah, see if there's something there you'd like to see. And some gear at the bottom because it's always nice to have a few gear options. See if there's something you'd like to see me build and pick it up. I don't know. You could do that. You don't have to, but you could. Let's see. I have my wish list. Also, I have a throne. My alternative to my Amazon list, the throne list. I'm going to update that again soon. Don't you worry. But you can pick something up there. And then also the most convoluted way to support me here is to go to USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card at USA Gundam Store. They send you a gift card code in your email. You then whisper me on Twitch or DM on me on Twitter with that gift card code, and then I use that gift card code and I buy something from USA Gundam Store. People have done this before. It's the most convoluted way to support me, but also it's a thing that people have done in the past, which is great and neat. More people have done that than bought stuff off Throne. And way more people have done the Amazon wish list. If you want to support me and not spend a dime, well, you can always join my Discord. It's full of great people. You're welcome to come hang on that Discord. We would love to have you there. There is a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club in my links here. Please check out Pat Bear's Anime Club if you haven't already. If you are like wondering about the new anime season, or you didn't watch a lot last season and you'd like to jump in and you want to hear my thoughts on that. It's a very long video that I would enjoy if you watched even some of. And then Kuma Bear is my weekly anime recommendation series. And this week I talked about a show from this past season I thought was great. Solo Leveling. If you are interested in solo leveling, you want to know a little bit more, you want to hear me in under a minute try to convince you to check it out, watch that video. I think it turned out pretty great. Okay, so what's going to happen next is I'm going to talk about a manga that I've been reading. It's Manga Monday. I'm going to talk about 2 new shows from the anime season that I've enjoyed, that I started watching and I liked. And then we'll talk about games and such. But to get this started, what I do need to do right now is to drink some water and dramatically transition back to the overhead camera so we can start paneling these legs and I can start talking to you about some manga. So let's do that right now. And then pardon me for 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's pan align these legs, and let me tell you about a manga. Oh, this is wrong. I want black, not gray. Oops. So let me tell you about. Oops. There we go. Okay, great. Let me tell you about the Crafty Mage frontier setting made easy. So the thing you might be asking yourselves, Pat, is this an isekai? And no, it's not. So then your next question, your follow-up. Well, Pat, if it's not an isekai, is it a banished/kicked story? And the answer is yes. Our main character, he was not in the hero's party or anything. He was just in the Knights of Schwartz. He was just in a well-regarded knights group, but he was a grunt. He was a mage. He was a production mage. He was support. He made things. And they took advantage of him. He was overworked and underpaid and not respected. And eventually, a thing that happens in these kinds of stories, the thing that, sometimes they just quit. Our people just quit and they go, you know what? I'm going to do something else. You don't appreciate me. But often, a lot of times, they are kicked out. They have decided that their belief that this person is weak is justified and they're right, and so they're like, we don't even need you anymore. They forget the part where, we were belittling them to take advantage of them, and they start believing their own hype that this person isn't good. So our guy Joshua kicks out. He's dismissed. Doesn't know what he's going to do. He's trying to figure something out. He knows he can probably. He's like, he's a mage, but he's really an alchemist. He's an overpowered, incredibly good alchemist. And he runs into Ilya, who is she is a demi-human. She's from the demon tribe. So the Demon King's army is mostly full of orcs and high-ranking demons, but the demon tribe is not that. They are pretty weak. They are your yokai-style demons. And they're kind of like, they're dealing with the demon army. They're also dealing with humans. Humans suck. There are a lot of slave traders that kidnap people, and they're dealing with a lot of bullshit. But even though they don't like humans, our main guy, Joshua, they immediately understand that he's very fucking powerful. because, he was with the Knights. He can make almost anything with raw materials. So he fortifies their houses. He gives them armor and weapons. He builds bows and arrows for them that are incredibly strong. He makes a moat eventually. Like, this dude just does whatever the fuck he needs to do and makes it happen. And they immediately respect him. You got multiple girls that like him. It's whatever. It's cozy. It's fun. Here's the thing. This isn't a cozy manga. There are some fun little joke moments, but it's not that. It's mostly dealing with the realities of these two-pronged attacks. He ends up having to deal with his own Knight's Order, including the guy that, his supervisor that let him go, that is a piece of shit. And things get bloody and violent. There are clashes with a bunch of different things. They have to kill a lot of orcs. It happens. But another thing that happens is they meet other demons. There are wolf demons, and there are bird demons whose name I can't remember what type they are, and cat demons. And of course, almost all of them are led by an attractive young lady who, of course, is interested in Joshua because Joshua rules. He's a good dude, and he's powerful, and he's able to help make everybody. And he becomes a village chief, by the way. Sorry, they make him village chief, and he's like, all right, I guess. And it's an easy read. It's not great, but it's not bad. And the circumstances are fun. It's got a lot of good storytelling in it. I do like that the guy who sucks has comeuppance very early in the story. Like, I think I'm only like 13 chapters in, and that guy is already an afterthought. Maybe more, I can't remember. But yeah, it is a fine series. I believe it's on Manga Up. I can't remember where I'm reading it, but I am reading it. I'm still reading it when issues come out. It's a fine series. You could do this is a weird thing to say. Yeah, you could do a lot worse than the Crafty Mage Frontier setting made easy. But if you're thinking, oh, it's easy because it's like lightweight, no, it's not a lightweight series. But it's good. Okay, and then let's talk anime. It's time to talk about the anime. So, I originally thought that I was going to have a lot of anime to talk with you about tonight. I thought, okay, well, a bunch of new shows happened on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. I'm going to have to talk about the Saturday shows, and I'll have to talk about the Monday shows, whatever. Not really. This season has been a really slow start where I haven't liked a lot of the stuff. Usually, I stop watching a show after like the second episode or the third episode. But there's a bunch of shows that I'm like, nah, I'm good. Astronaut, I stopped about halfway through. The second episode of Train to Nowhere, I stopped about halfway through. Not interested, not going to watch it. I didn't get to, due to time constraints, Chilling in my 30s. I might, Chilling in Level 2, I think it's called. I might check that out and watch the first 2 episodes. I don't know. That's a manga that I've always thought was fine, but wasn't like super into, so I don't know if I'm going to get deep into it. So I only have 2 shows to talk about tonight. One is a show that I'm going to watch for for Friday, Saturday. One show that I'm going to be watching for Sunday, Monday. My hope is that I will find another show to talk about, and have more to talk about. This season is fucking weird right now. I don't have a lot of new stuff that I like. My favorite show that's new is Bartender Glass of God, and that's a remake. That's like a new adaptation, but I do think that it's pretty strong. But yeah, I don't have like anything like outstanding or stellar this season. Slime is good. Season 3 of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, I thought was good. And then before I get into talking about the shows, one of which I thought was a really fun episode, the other one I thought was fine. I do need to say, what to say about this? I don't recommend Laid Back Camp Season 3. I'm gutted. It's a new studio, and the first episode sucked. The voices are still the same. Voice actors are still doing their job. Character design is a little different because it's a different studio, but I don't mind the new character design because the characters are aging a little bit, which I think is fantastic and good that that's happening. Um, the backgrounds are real images that they put on a filter on and then put some animation in there, and it's awful. It's fucking awful. I'm so hoping that they do another pass on the episodes they already have in the can, because the season isn't probably done in production, but episodes have been done. And my hope is that enough stink gets made internationally that they go in and make it right. It's just the new studio is just doing a piss poor job. Some of the backgrounds are reference photos that have been like put a painterly app on, like basically like an anime filter. And some of them don't even look like that. They just look like, oh, here's a forest and here's a tent that's animated and written. And so like season 2, right? There was some CGI in season 2. It wasn't all perfect in season 2. There were a few things that I was like, oh, this could be better, but like it's still good. When they had Rin driving in her motorcycle, that was CGI. And like it didn't look great, but that's a cost saving thing. I think that's fine. This is just bad. It's just terrible looking, and it's a bummer. It is the biggest bummer. I usually do my like shows to recommend for the the season, and I'm gonna do like, I think, because that's gonna be a couple weeks before I do that video. Because I'm gonna do the next video for Pat Bear's Anime Club, which will be out on Monday. It's coming Monday, a week from today. Will be like, if I'm going to be watching any of the isekai that are out, because I like doing that video. I always like doing that. The one I'm doing after that, which will be my recommendations, I will also have like my jeers. It'll be cheers and jeers, but it'll be more like, I don't recommend this. It'll be like 3 shows I recommend and 1 I don't, and that'll be my way to get on camera me being fucking so pissed off about this, because it's rough. It's awful. I don't want to be so negative in the second hour of the stream. But if you are like me and really love Laid Back Camp and you were excited for the 3rd season, yeah, it's a bummer. It's a fucking bummer. I got nothing good to say about that first episode. Real bad. Slime is good. I don't think the new opening song is that great, but I really like this the arc and a half, or the 2 arcs. I don't know how far they're gonna go with Slime. I like this story that they're covering in the material, so I am excited for more of it. But let me tell you about the shows I am watching. Tonari no Youkai-san is fucking weird. Hey, if you were wondering, Pat, did any shows this season fucking get weird? Yes. There's some weird shit this season, and this is one of them. Tonari no Youkai-san is so strange. We start with Buchio. Buchio used to be a regular cat, a house cat, has a family, lived with Takumi, little boy Takumi, and in his family, and Buchio is just an average cat. Buchio is going through a life change, and Buchio is becoming a Mekomata, which is a cat yokai. So our normal cat now can communicate and people can understand, and is becoming a yokai, because we are in a world where yokai and humans interact and live together. So through Takumi, we are introduced to Muchan and Ryo. Ryo, we're going to learn more about, I think, in later episodes. We don't really learn much here. But our friend Muchan, later we follow her, and she goes to meet up with her neighbor and Jiro, and they are friends despite their age difference. They are friendly neighbors. And Jiro is a crow. It's a crow tengu, which is another yokai. There's a bunch of yokai in this show if you haven't figured that out yet. But yeah, we got our tengu, crow named Jiro. Jiro lives with his parents. And then we get a short explanation of what the fuck is going on here. Like they don't go deep into it, folks. So we're not, maybe later we'll get more details. But basically the idea is that at a certain point in history, the gods and the spirits, yokai and I forget the name of the gods, they come down to Earth to visit. And then the Akatsuki go back to heaven, and the yokai decide they're going to stay and live with humanity peacefully. And that's where we're at. Peacefully, everything's cool. And then the world kind of changed because of that. And so sometimes people become yokai, like Buchio. Buchio is registering as a yokai. Like, it's become like everything becomes governmental. But yeah, he's gotta like become a registered yokai. He's very nervous. He doesn't know what it means to be yokai. He like understood what it meant to be a cat, but he's not sure what he's capable of. He's reassured. This is one of my favorite moments in the show, is that like everybody's fucking on this cat side, this yokai side. They're into it. So the family's on board. He meets up with our crow Jiro, who's just like giving him moral support. Family's behind him. Then they go and meet a fox spirit, a kitsune named Yuri, and Yuri is going to mentor Buchiro. And then through that mentorship and through a lot of practice, he completes the first step. Buchio turns his paws into human hands. He is on his way to be a full-fledged yokai. This was like the training thing. It's just like fun. It's breezy. There's some like, it's not dramatic in this moment, but it's like, there's some support there. There's a lot going on, and it's so weird, but the pacing is just like agreeable. It is a slice of life with weird things going on, which is fun. Later, Muchan's family is waiting for her grandfather to appear because it is a day of the anniversary of his death. Meanwhile, apparently a lot of houses have their own deities. So Oshimara-sama, the deity of their home, appears as a horse. Muchan wonders, she kind of like talks to Oshimara-sama about like, have you seen my father's spirit? Because apparently her father's missing. And now the show gets sad. It wasn't sad. It was weird and fun. And it's still weird and fun, but also it's a little melancholy. Because apparently her dad is missing, and she assumes that he's dead. And that's when the grandfather's spirit just kind of like... The grandfather's spirit was hanging out in the TV room, apparently, and not in the main room. And so the grandfather's spirit just kind of wanders in and is just like, your dad would be bummed out if he found, he thought he was dead. I guess implying that he's not. And then we later learned through a conversation with like a private investigator that Muchan's mother, then also later with Jiro and Jiro's father, that Muchan's father might have been swallowed by the void. We didn't know about the void until now, but there's a void, which is the dimension between the living world and the afterlife. So maybe he got sucked up into the void, and so he's not dead with the grandfather, but he's also not in the human realm anymore. And we're going to learn more about that later. So this is a show that is deeply weird, but it's one of those weirds where everyone is on board with how weird it is. Like, It's my favorite. I guess it is my favorite show of the season. I think Bartender Glass of God was cool, and this is just fucking fun. It's just neat as hell. I don't know. Like, Tonari no Youkai-san is it's not Frieren by any means, but it is that fantasy slice of life with a little bit of extra that I'm looking for. So if you're looking for some fantasy that isn't just like an action series with an overpowered main character and a harem, this might be a good choice for you. You might think this is right up your alley, because it is right up my alley. And the other series I want to talk to you about is also weird, but a different kind of weird. Grandpa and Grandma Turn Young Again is the name of this anime, based on the manga, and it is about a pair of grandparents who turn young again. That's the premise, and it is very light, and a lot of like scenes. It's a lot of like scenes from like that just kind of go on, a montage of scenes, like short little segments. Shozo and Ine have been married for decades, and Shozo's a little melancholy because he's like, we never were able to go on a honeymoon. They're farmers. They live in a small town. You know, they've got kids. They got grandkids. But he's like, I never got to take her on a honeymoon. And she didn't get to live the life that, like the kind of quality of life that she deserved. He wasn't able to give her the moon and stars. Then they go to bed. And then they wake up. And they are young again. They're young and fit and handsome / pretty. And all they can think of is that maybe the golden apple they found while farming made them young again. And so this show doesn't work unless they're incredibly accepting of what's up, right? They got to immediately just be like, oh, we're young again. Weird. We're still the same people. We still have our same thoughts and memories. We just have younger bodies. Okay. And everyone else is like, oh, weird. Okay. Like their neighbors, their friends, their family. Everybody's just like, well, good for you. That's rad. Huh. So you're young. You're both very young. Okay. And then adventures happen. They're still, in a move that I thought was a little weird because the show opens with him being bummed. Like, you think like, oh, now they can do some stuff. They'll go do things and travel. No, they just go back to their regular life. And now it's just easier. Like, farming is easier when your body works and isn't like messed up from age, there's a community sports day, and their neighborhood wins for the first time ever because suddenly the old people, are young. They're still very much in love. Is it implied that they almost immediately bone? Yes. Yes, it is implied. It's heavily implied that they almost immediately bone because they're young. And it's like, you know what? Yes. Yes, you should definitely imply that. There should be no question that these characters are up to it and into it. Like a fucking course. Why wouldn't they be? They got to make it happen. They spend time together. They work. Again, I'm skipping a couple things here and there, but it's mostly just quaint things. And then it's almost like the anime was like, oh, by the way, Pat, fuck off. And I'm going to give this another episode because I want to see if this was just like a thing that is this a part of the anime that I don't like that is like every couple episodes or every once in a while, like quarterly, there's like a scene that I'm like, God fucking damn it, get out of here, kid. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be here, but it bothered me and I didn't like it and I want to tell you about it. One of the grandkids that doesn't spend a lot of time with them really thinks that Grandpa is hot. Shizo is a hot man now, and the grandkid can't fucking figure that shit out, and has like a non-romantic crush on her grandpa. And also, one of the daughter-in-laws has a crush as well. And that sucks and is weird. And I hope it's not in episode 2. I hope it's only in this one episode. And it was just like a weird thing that they decided to include, which they could have just cut because it didn't need it. And it's weird. And it's going for laughs. I just wasn't laughing, you know, because it was like, this is weird. And like, doesn't fit with the vibe of the series and kind of comes out of nowhere and is strange. And I don't know why it's there. So it's not a like, it is what this episode was fun. I think both these shows are great. I didn't love where it ended up in that episode, and I'm interested to see if it's going to be like a thing where every episode there's a part of it where I'm like, God fucking damn it, or if it's consistently just like fucking cool, and then every once in a while there's something that I'm just like not super into. I don't know. But that's what I've been watching, and I'll have more. There's more shows that haven't debuted yet. Thursday, I'll be talking about the Bartender Show, which I thought was great. And I'll be talking about Unnamed Memory, which is a manga that I've really enjoyed. It is not an isekai. It is not a kicked series, but it is an action series about a prince whose family has been cursed, that they cannot, I believe they can't have children unless the curse is broken. But it's not like a problem with the guy. It's a problem with like a woman. Oh, so it's a curse where the mother of that person's children will die. And some people are willing to take that risk and others aren't. And so it's the main dude, the prince, finding one of the immortal witches that exist in the world to break the curse or to marry him because she wouldn't be affected by the curse. So he's like, look, you can help me break this curse or you can marry me. And I think it would be great if you married me because you seem really cool. Something's off. Did I miss something here? This should go into here and connect, and it's not, and I don't know why. There's nothing on this piece. There's nothing here for this to get caught in. And I'm like looking to see if I missed something. Those are for the sides. Those go there. That goes there. Yeah, there's no step. This piece needs to go. I'm just going to pop this out. This piece needs to pop in here and then live like this. Like that. But it doesn't stay, and there's nothing to catch it. And so I'm like, what did I do wrong? But I'm looking, and I don't see any pieces that go there. While I'm figuring this out, oh yeah, and then it goes like that. But yeah, there's no connector. That's polycap 2. And that's B20. While I'm trying to figure this out, folks, now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you. Are you watching anything? You playing anything? I haven't seen you all since Thursday, so are you playing any video games? You watching any movies? While I struggle to figure out what's going on with this and try to get his body complete here, I'll tell you that I watched a ton of wrestling. As we said, I watched so much goddamn wrestling. I loved every minute of it. It ruled. It was really fun. I had a great time. Bobby Dice Roller just subscribed to Tier 1 for 39 months. Thank you so much, Bobby. Appreciate that. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. Thank you very much, Bobby, for renewing your subscription. We are still at 49 subscribers, but we're still strong at 49. Thank you very much, Bobby. Appreciate that. But yeah, I want to hear from you, what you're up to, what you're into. All I did was watch anime and wrestling the last couple days. I kept up with Hearthstone. I have not played Helldivers. I had a D&D session, which was really fun, a one-shot that I helped run. We did play Fiasco, I should say. So I had a Fiasco session and a D&D session. They were both great. I don't get to DM D&D that much these days. And I don't get to DM Fiasco that much these days. And I don't get to play D&D that much these days. And so I liked both of those things. Both those things were really fun, and I had a good time doing it. Go like this. So yeah, that was fun. That was a fun time. So this is going to go like this, and then this is going to go here. That's going to fit in like that. So I know this is right. The thing that isn't right now, friends, is this part. when I look here, these fit in no problem. This is looking like this. The way it's supposed to go. And then it says it feeds up there. There are some words here, and I am going to use the Google Translate app to tell me what it says, because I don't know what it says. So I'm going to do that, and we'll see if that helps me out here. So let me hit the camera button, and then I'm just going to hit this. View from the side. Careful of the direction. Okay, that's not helpful at all. Great. So that didn't help me at all. Because I could see that's how it looked there. So it looks like that. There's a little shaved off piece. That means at the back. That means these go in like this, which seems right. And then step 2 is this goes up into this. And it doesn't fit. It doesn't do anything. It just doesn't lock in. And I don't know why it doesn't lock in, but it doesn't. So we'll pull this apart and we'll look at it again. Yeah, so C1, this is A11. This is A11, I know that. These pieces come off. This is A11. This is C1. There is like 2 things there. Like maybe I'm not pushing it up enough, but this looks like it's enough. But there's nothing to catch it. I don't understand. There's like nothing here to hold it in place. There's no polycap there. And I'm looking at it, and there's no piece that I'm missing. That goes there, goes there, that goes in the back, so that we can put our beam saber holders are on the back of the kit, not the sides, which is kind of neat. Yeah, this just doesn't, there's nothing to catch it. It just doesn't lock in place. And then if I do it the other way, which is not right, that also. And it's like, is this just supposed to be friction? Like friction holds it in place? Because that doesn't seem right. Yeah, this just comes apart. Like this just like falls off. And I guess it doesn't matter. I guess the weight of it would keep it together. Maybe that's the idea, is the weight of it would keep it together. This is just so weird. It's just like a weird element to this kit. Like, this doesn't feel right. Like this kit shouldn't separate, and I don't know why it is. Bobby's been playing a lot of Dota 2. That's awesome. Getting back to adventure games a bit and started going back into anime. Hell yeah, Bobby. I'm very happy to hear that. It's always nice to have some stuff to watch. Yeah, I just can't figure this out, friends. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But this is just not... There's like nothing to catch this. There's just nothing... Like there should be a polycap here to connect it. And there's no part of this. Oh, there it is. No, that's not it. No, that goes on the side. Yeah, that goes there. I was going to say, I'm like, okay, I figured it out. I fucking figured it out. I am missing a polycap. There's a polycap I'm missing, and it was very annoying to notice that I'm missing it. But I was missing a polycap. I did fuck this up, and I'll explain in a moment once I get this separated. Ghost Valve started Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's awesome. I enjoy that show. Continuing Transformers comics, you saw the partial eclipse at home. I watched some live streams of the eclipse because that's just not what, we didn't get much of it. On collecting part of Elden Ring right before TLC. Nice. Okay, so I had to put these side polycaps on. There's a third polycap that needs to go point down. The instructions right here. I read this polycap as being the polycap that goes there. They meant one goes there, another one goes there. This one is the one that points down. So the instructions aren't terrible, but they were very misleading. And I didn't understand that they needed... What they wanted me to do was put a polycap right here. So I'm putting a polycap right here that then this piece is going to feed into. So now I know what they wanted me to do. I think it was poorly implemented in the instructions there. and easily missed, which I did miss, but I have figured it out. So I am not mad. I am just annoyed. A little annoyed with that. Oh, Lashburn got back into Valheim. Nice. Watched the eclipse, but it was cloudy enough I could barely see anything. Yeah, it just didn't work out for us over here. So I watched it online. Your backup plan, you watched the last 3 episodes of Berserk 97, so I still got to watch an eclipse. Oh, Lashbrook. You're right. But Bobby says, I watched through My Senpai is Annoying, watched The Wind Rises, and I started watching Oshibo, which has been great. Oh, yes, Oshinobo. Yes. Yeah. I didn't love My Senpai is Annoying, but I know people that really like it, so I hope you're enjoyed. Lord Crash says, I watched Physical 100 Season 2 on Netflix, which was a fun time. Got your 8th win in Balatro, though I still need to try some of the higher difficulties. Hell yeah. I might go back to Balatro at some point. I'm getting a bit of the itch. I watched a streamer play some of it the other day. Raffle, who normally does Hearthstone streams, has been branching out a little bit. So I watched some Balatro play from Raffle, and it made me go, I kind of want to do that. I don't think I am, but I kind of want to. All right, we got 2 weapons here. We are body complete on this kit, so then we'll get into the weapons. We'll at least get the sniper rifle started tonight. I don't know if we're going to finish it tonight, but we'll get started. Aristophan started working on Dragon's Dogma 2. Wow, y'all, I mean, obviously I didn't stream on Saturday, so you've had some time to do some stuff since my last stream, but yeah, y'all been busy. Lord Crashton ordered an analog pocket, which should get here later this week. Nice. Oh yeah, they just opened it up for whoever. So that's cool. You got a good break from work to watch the eclipse since we were in the path of totality in Ohio. Oh, nice, Lord Crashton. That's cool. Yeah, we would have seen something here in South Carolina, but not anything major, which is fine. I just kind of went about my day and then watched or listened to NASA people be really geeked out about it, which is always fun to hear NASA people be geeked out about a thing that I also think is neat. So that was fun. All right, then we need C24 and C33. C34 and 33, I should say. It's here, okay. So 34 is the top piece. That's going to go on the top. And then 33 is the bottom piece. It's going to go towards the bottom. And then we can at least get this rifle built. There's another gun. So Thursday's stream is going to be finishing up this kit, which is to build the shield. And then we have our little friend, the RH35E. We got a little orange friend. That's all of this entire sheet here. We haven't used it all. So we got to build a little friend. I forgot about the little friend. We got to build a little friend. So we're definitely going to finish this kit up on Thursday. And then we will start the Dreadnought X Astray, which is a wild looking kit that I look forward to build. And, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Berserk 97 is pretty good, but it makes some pretty big compromises that bums me out. Yeah, I mean, it's still the best adaptation in an anime form of Berserk. So even with its compromises, it is of its time. But I do think that it's pretty fucking stellar. And then, Aristophan really likes their analog pocket. You got a couple months ago. Nice, yeah. Well, that's awesome. Also, this weapon is pretty fucking cool. Our sniper rifle. And then, of course, there is another gun, but we'll wait on building that other gun on the next stream. I'm just going to build the hand that should hold it, because there's a different hand for that. For this gun that we'll build now. Real quick. We got a little time to do that. C17 and C18 are what we need here. The special hand that can hold this gun at an angle. Because this is the Sniper 2, and so it should be holding the sniper rifle. The classic. The idea of a Gundam that has a weapon with a scope on it is always so funny to me. It's so silly to be like, yeah, it's got a scope. It's just like, why? Why does it have a scope? Come on. That's fun. That doesn't make any sense, but it is fun. But yeah, we still have the shield. We have the other weapon to build. And we have our little guy, our little friendly extra robot there to build as well, which we will do on Thursday stream. But tomorrow's stream, as a reminder, as we're wrapping up the stream here, we're going to get towards the end. Reminder that my stream on Tuesday will be Pokemon Black Randomizer. I don't remember where we are in it. I will find out tomorrow. I'll get that up when I get everything set up. I will figure out where we are in the game. I believe at the last one we had just completed a gym, but I don't remember for sure. So I'm gonna hopefully figure that out before the stream. I mean, that would be the most important thing, was to figure that out. All right, so this is gonna go like this. Yeah, we hold it on a weird angle, and then this piece needs to go in here. Yeah. Sometimes these hands are a little tricky to put together with my big fingers. I don't often run into a problem with tiny pieces, but every once in a while I do. But yeah, you hold the gun like this, which is always an odd thing, but is how this kit works. And that's going to do it for this stream here. We will have more of this kit on Thursday, because we have the other gun to build, we have the shoulder or the shield to build, and we have the little guy. And then we'll start working on the Dreadnought, which is, again, this kit, the Dreadnought Exastray, with a big fun shield and big boosters that come out of the back. Look at that shit. Look at that backpack. The backpack looks so cool. And yeah, the parts come apart there. That's going to be a fun build. I was psyched when that showed up on Amazon with like an order of like 5 kits or something, and it was a good price. And I was like, oh, I'm getting that. But yeah, that's going to do it for this evening. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find someone doing cool shit out there and go support them with a raid. So I hope you come along on this raid. And I hope you had a good time tonight. I certainly did. It was a fun stream. So let's go see if we can find somebody doing cool shit. Mary Kish is streaming. She's playing Pepper Grinder. As you know, Mary Kish is the best people. Mary Kish is top tier. So we got to go and S plus tier Mary. So we got to go raid Mary and see what's going on with her. So feel free to come along on this raid. And I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. I hope you have a great week. Hope you come back tomorrow for Pokemon Randomizer. I hope you come back on Thursday for model kits. I hope your week is swell. I hope you didn't stare directly at the sun. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.